Hi, my name is Laura Van Oudenaren, and I'm a 2010 South Dakota Corps member and a current Director of Learning Experiences on the Baltimore staff. I had the amazing opportunity to participate in the Innovation Lab Incubators program in the winter of last year and then again in the fall of this year. It was an amazing experience, some of the best professional development I've ever received. And I received a lot of really great professional development working and being a core member with Teach for America. What I loved about the Innovation Lab is, first of all, I have an MBA, and so I just felt like there was this just direct crossover in my work. And then second of all, I love that we were leaning into solutions and just the power of rapidly iterating for student-centered solutions with a community. It has fundamentally changed how I work, not just in regards to the topics that we addressed as a community, but also in how I orient to problems in my work stream. I lean heavily now on design thinking with my team, and we've started to adopt some of these protocols and procedures that are really rooted in design thinking to try to push ourselves to come up with more creative solutions for problems beyond the ones that we tackled with the innovators. And we've even begun to pilot some of these sort of design workshops with local principals in our region. So it's been an incredible experience. In terms of what problem I tackled in the winter incubators, we answered the question, or we addressed the question, how might we help core members identify their impact through storytelling, or by telling their story. And I felt that this was a crucial thing because I know that as our second years exit Teach for America, a lot of times, and throughout their experience, they are trying and seeking to make meaning of themselves, their role, and their role within the community that they serve. And oftentimes, I think we become ambassadors for these communities, and we don't always spend the time on this thinking about how to intentionally tell our stories as we should. And I identified the root cause of some of the problem here. One of the things was just the lack of positive narratives that are often told, both about the communities we're in, about the nature of our work, and then also just about Teach for America in general, when our core members feel like they're in the trenches and expectation doesn't always meet reality. And so I chose to dig in and tackle this positivity piece. And ultimately, the solution that I designed was a 6-week learning community with a small pilot group of core members, second-year core members, with the intention of working towards a place where they were going to be telling stories of their entire core experience. And those stories were going to be rooted in positivity. So we did a lot of strengths-based reflection and asset-based leadership models before we started telling our stories. The first measure of success I did was just core member interest. Was I tackling the right problem? And I was excited to hear that although the time of year wasn't great to pilot it at the end of their second year, there was a lot of interest. And I found that core members were really craving this experience. I think that they do a lot of reflecting with their coach on how they've changed as teachers over the last 2 years, but they rarely get the chance to really reflect on the 2 years as a whole and their orientation for Teach for America as a whole. And I was operating under this fundamental belief that core members who had time to make meaning of their experience with Teach for America would become better alumni because they had started to tell that story before they exited the Corps. Obviously, it's hard to measure that impact just yet because I need to track them over time. But I can tell you that the learning community was a success in terms of some of the metrics I used. Some of those were just attendance, output, and a survey that I administered, of course. And I think that the impact of it is that we got a better handle on what it means to tackle head on the relationship between both storytelling and some of the questions that we will be asking our alumni well into the future about how they orient to this organization. We are excited to continue this learning community and possibly open it up to young alumni so that we're continuing to expand who can participate in this and the impact of this. So far, I think it was really successful. And even if the learning community wasn't a success, I think that process of rapidly iterating, trying something out every week, adjusting it with a community that really pushed me was one of the most powerful things that I could have imagined. And it was just so different from my normal work that it really opened my eyes to the potential of design thinking. So yeah.